like a Hellcat.
Hello and welcome back to the channel where once again it's time for another Sega Saturn review. Today we've got a game from a genre that I have pretty limited knowledge and experience from. If you ask me, name a shooter, I will probably say R-Type. That's the one I know best. I've played very few shooters in my entire life. So coming into Darius Gaiden, I didn't really have any idea of what it was going to be like. I had brief flicks through Parodius and Darius 2 whilst I was playing this at the same time. So my Saturn knowledge of shooters is really limited as well. So I went into this completely blind with no experience of this game. So it was actually a real learning curve and a really good experience because it was a game I have never ever played before. So today we are taking a look and reviewing Darius Gaiden. So Darius Gaiden came out in 1996 over here in the PAL region, and it was the conversion of the 1994 arcade game. And basically the idea of the game is that the player controls a ship known as the Silver Hawk, and it has to obliterate an empire known as the Belsar, and they're trying to destroy what's left of the human race and their new home of planet Darius, I should say. Some people call it Darius, I say Darius, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but basically you take control of your ship and you've got to blast through the levels one by one to complete the game and save what is left of the kingdom. Once the game is loaded up, pretty simplistic menu. You can go into the options, choose easy, normal, hard, that kind of stuff. It shows you the controls, very simplistic, and you can do an audio and sound test as well. So as always, we're going to talk about how the game looks, how it plays, how it sounds, and what kind of lifespan you can get from this game and whether it is worth playing today. Now, loading the game up visually, I knew it was a 2D shooter. That's pretty much all I knew. I think I'd seen snippets maybe from Sega Lord X and stuff of this game at previous points in the past on other videos. Graphically, it appealed to me straight away. I do like 2D games, especially ones like this. It reminded me of R-Type instantly, but on a much more impressive scale. The 2D graphics on this game, as far as I'm concerned, are genuinely really good. We got some great backgrounds. They sort of transition regularly throughout the levels, which looks really good. You get tons of enemies on the screen at once. No real slowdown that I noticed at all as well. Loads of variety with the effects from the weapons too, and the special move that you can do with your ship as well. Graphically, I genuinely can't really fault the game for its 2D graphics. I genuinely think it's really good. We've got some cool special effects as well that happen throughout the levels, and it really does give it a really good charm. And it's one of these kind of games that the Saturn could pull off so well. Everybody knows about the Saturn's 2D capabilities. I'm not going to bore anybody by regurgitating that stuff, but they are very good, and the Saturn is the place that these games were absolutely at their best. So graphically, Darius Gaiden, really good, really impressive. I really love all the variety of the levels as well. They're all so different, and like I said, they transcend into different areas and stuff as the levels go on, and it gives it really good variety. And so visually, for me, Darius Gaiden gets an A. In terms of how it plays, I mean, Darius Gaiden plays exactly how I would expect a shooter to play. Like I said, I've got limited knowledge of shooters throughout my whole entire life, but the D-pad moves your ship. A and C fire, and you can hold the button to do auto fire, and B does your special move. It's pretty much that simplistic. When you start the game, you've got a simple forward shooting attack. You can collect green emblems to get missiles. Red emblems can increase the length and power of your shots, and the blue one can give you a shield. The more you collect, the more they get upgraded in terms of power and shield durability, that kind of stuff. Pretty simplistic, straightforward, and it's easy to understand, which is really good. Like a game like this, I want to be able to pick it up, get into it, know exactly what's going on, and Darius Gaiden just delivers on all of those fronts as far as I'm concerned. One thing to note is if you die, you go back to your basic weapon. You lose all of those things as well. And you get 3 special moves per life. I wouldn't say save them. I would say you need to make sure you're using these. Anytime you think you're about to die and lose all of your weapon upgrades, hit that special button, and what it does is it absorbs all the enemies, all their attacks in one motion on the screen and gets rid of them all. Obviously, if it's a boss, it'll just do severe damage, but that can really save you, and that is a really crucial part of the gameplay as far as I'm concerned. You need to learn enemy patterns and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen, so yes, you will die. Yes, it's pretty tough. Even on easy, you're going to be losing lives and blasting through continues. But as far as the way it plays, I can't really fault Darius Gaiden. It plays exactly how I want a shooter to play. Like I said, limited knowledge and all, but it plays perfectly fine. Really good, really enjoyable. Pick it up, play it, boom, job done. Another A in terms of gameplay. So moving on to the way the game sounds. Now this seems to have been an area for this game that kind of created a divide of opinions, because I always research the games a little bit before I do my reviews and talk about them, and it seems for every person that thought the soundtrack was really good, there seemed to be people that didn't think it fit the game very well and it wasn't that good. Now for me, Darius Gaiden has an absolutely brilliant soundtrack. It makes the game feel so unique and so special, and the music's got a kind of entrancing, unique vibe to it that, yeah, it's completely different to what you'd expect to find in a shooter, but it kind of suits the game. And because the enemies are so bizarre, you know, you're fighting and trying to take down giant fish as the bosses and stuff, I tend to think the obscure, kind of quirky music fits the game absolutely brilliantly. And it was done by the house band for Taito called Untitled. Now I don't know who they are, but they came up with this soundtrack, and for me it's absolutely brilliant. So what I'm going to do is, like I always do when I think we've got good music in a game, I'm going to give you a few snippets of some of the tracks. So moving on to the lifespan of the game, thankfully Darius Gaiden does really well here as well. I believe there's 27 levels on offer in the game, but you can only play through 7 per playthrough, which means you have to play the game over and over again if you want to cover every single level. And the idea is, obviously, at the end of each level you can select the path to take, and you eventually will cover every single level if you keep coming back to play it, which means you'll see every final boss and every ending sequence. So Darius Gaiden in that sense has a really good sense of replay value. Obviously you can up the ante by lowering the number of continues, or you can turn the difficulty up should you choose to. Not that the game's not hard enough already, because I found it pretty challenging, to be fair. And of course, 2-player option means somebody else can pick it up and play with you. The great thing is here, it's not hard to learn the controls, so pretty much a really young person or an older person who doesn't really play games that much could actually, in theory, pick it up and play with you and do relatively well. So in terms of lifespan, I haven't really got anything negative to say. Perhaps the only downside is you obviously have to play through the game all in one sitting, but of course it's only about 30 minutes or so, so it's not really the end of the world. So summarizing overall, as you will have guessed, due to the fact that I haven't really said anything negative about this game, I can wholeheartedly recommend Darius Gaiden to pick up and give it a go in the year 2022, 26 years after it was originally released on the Saturn here in the PAL region. I haven't really got, you know, anything bad to say about it. It still plays really good. I still find the visuals appealing. Like I said, the music is fantastic as well. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit of money if you want to pick it up, probably somewhere between £50 and £100 probably for a physical copy, so it's not exactly on the cheap side, but it is well worth playing it out however you decide to do that. I'm not telling you how to play it, but yeah, give it a go by all means. And of course, the other question is whether this game makes it into our Saturn top 10. Which of course it does. It comes in at number 6. I really do feel this game was really, really good. Now, no title actually fell off the list because before the video, tied in second spot was Fighters Megamix and Virtua Fighter 2. So I thought, you know what, I'd rejig it so we've actually got 1 to 10 rather than 10 games in there. So Croc stays in there at the bottom of the list, and the list kind of rejigs with Darius Gaiden coming in at number 6. What are your opinions of Darius Gaiden? How well do you think it holds up today? Did you play it when it came out? Let me know with a comment down below. If you haven't done, perhaps consider subscribing to the channel and follow me as I continue to review every single PAL game in the Saturn region. In the PAL region for the Saturn. I think we're on about 35 titles so far, so we've still got a long way to go. Anyway, that will do it for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, I shall see you again soon for another review and some more roulette. Goodbye for now.